Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Growing Up PK. It is your host Leo, your favorite PK YouTuber, bass player, and then your other favorite PK here.
Yo.
Your favorite drummer and your favorite PP touch guy. Guys, today's gonna be a very special episode. We're gonna talk about something that's very important to both of us because it's something we both experienced, something we went through, and something that God has helped us come out of, and that is mental illness, and especially within the church, especially within the PK world, and even the pastors. But this is for anybody in the church that feels that they feel misunderstood, or you even feel ashamed due to mental illness, or you may be going through depression, anxiety, panic, PTSD, bipolar disorder, mood swings, or whatever it may be. This video is for you guys because we really want to speak about this. We really want to inject hope instead of putting fear in you guys. Now, before we start, I want you to like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, right? And let's try to get to 15 likes. Let's get to 15 likes. If we get to 15 likes, I'll be dropping these PK vlogs more consistently and more frequently for you guys. But then again, thank you guys to all the PKs, all the pastors, all everybody that's watching and supporting. I love you guys. Nico, so mental illness. What is something you heard about mental illness in church? And like say how it is. You know, if you heard something bad, say it. If it's something good, say it. But let's be raw with all the people that are viewing us right now.
Well, one of the things I heard saying is mental illness is just on your head, like God can heal you, just pray on it. You don't need medication. Is the worst thing to take because like it could drive you even more crazy and stuff like that. That's what I heard from my church saying like how mental illness, like if you're going through depression, if you have anxiety, you're like the worst of your life, like you're nothing basically.
Damn, that's hard.
Yeah, that's my experience.
So they make you feel like you should be ashamed.
Yeah.
You should be ashamed because you're going through this.
Because I did something like bad in the past.
Because you deserved it.
Yeah.
And mental illness is something you unlock due to your disobedience, your negligence, or your lack of faith.
Yes.
That's sad. I mean, I think that's probably one of the biggest myths that you hear in church is that mental illness is something you attire or you receive due to being disobedient, unserveful, unfaithful in the church and in the community. And I think that's the biggest lie ever. Nico, a lot of people say it's like, oh, if you're going through depression, pray about it, worship, you believe it in the hands of God, which I'm a believer in that.
Yeah.
I do believe that God can heal, can deliver through all these things. But Nico, what happens if you just keep on feeling the same, if not worse?
Well, you gotta look for other options. The thing is, God uses doctors too. So not everybody is called to be just in a ministry in church, a pastor, a preacher, or evangelist. But you could be a doctor too. You could be a politician. You could be a police officer. And I'm a strong believer of that. So it was you who told me that God uses doctors too. Mm-hmm. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna seek a psychiatrist.
Well, tell us your experience. Is there anything that happened to you, or I'm guessing you are an advocate because you have experience in this.
Yeah. I've been it's been years. I've been every night. It usually happens at night. I just think about what happened. A whole major event that happened in my life.
A traumatic event. A very traumatizing situation happened to you, I'm guessing, and it caused something to happen to you, like a shift.
Yeah. A shift. Every night I thought about it, how can I fix it? How could I have done something to prevent it? And it just caused me major anxiety attacks, and it just made me depressed because I felt worthless. And I opened up to one person, and they just laughed at me and just made me feel even worthless. So I was like, maybe I should just seek a professional help because I was afraid, opening up to people who they just kind of put me down and make me feel worthless.
Were these people in the church?
There was one in the church, and the second person I opened up was during my college days. I was going to college.
And which was the one that made you feel bad?
Church.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, dude. Was it me?
No.
Okay. Damn.
No.
That sucks, dude. Guys,
this is not a sponsor.
This is not a sponsor, but
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. So it's unfortunate, Nico, that you felt ashamed because that's pretty much what that person made you feel, was shame because you were going through something that you really didn't have control over. And look, guys, so a lot of people, some of you guys know my life, my testimony about what happened to me a couple of years ago and how that led to depression and anxiety. All I gotta say is that it's not like I asked to be depressed. It's not like I asked to be anxious. You know, what happened to me through the robbery that occurred in my life. I was robbed at gunpoint. I was beat up. I was mauled. They took my base. They took my computer. They took a lot of projects and money I had in there. And then, you know, I was just humiliated and I just didn't know what to do. And I had scars all over my face and my body due to this. You know, that caused a hormonal imbalance in my brain due to what happened, the trauma. And maybe I didn't feel it immediately because PTSD doesn't happen immediately, at least not to everybody, or everybody's different. But after a while, I started replaying these events in my head when I was robbed, the gun in my head. And then sometimes my brain will have scenarios where I was actually killed. And I would tell myself, I would rather be dead than be alive suffering through this PTSD and then trauma happened. You know, it was the worst thing ever. And honestly, if you guys don't follow me on my Instagram, I posted this thing called Fighting This Demon, where now that we can't go to the gyms, but when I go to the gym, I will say this thing, I will post fighting this demon, and that came from about me literally fighting depression and anxiety through exercise. But in reality, things never got better. And I prayed about it, I fasted about it, you know, I worship, yet I was feeling worse. I told my parents about it, and that took a lot of guts. I think for a PK to open up, a pastor's kid, or even people in the ministry, or you being a churchgoer, to open up to your leaders about what you're going through, depression, anxiety, it takes a lot of balls, because you're expecting for them to say, how dare you have this, you are ashamed to the church. And you being a PK, maybe they'll be like, you are ashamed to be our child, we are ashamed of you, you are a disappointment, how dare you have a mental illness, how dare you have depression, the devil's inside of you, the devil's working inside of you. But thank God my parents were supportive. You know, yes, it did take them a little convincing, and it kind of took them a little conversation. They were a little closed-minded, but because again, Nico, we are Latino, we are Hispanic. Yeah. Hispanics do not believe in mental illness. They have this toxic machismo, this toxic pride of like, if you're depressed, then you are a weak-minded person. You're not working hard enough. You are not part of the culture, because Latino people especially Latino men should not be depressed because we are prideful.
They say like, oh, why are you depressed? Like, you're not doing anything. You're not paying all these bills and nothing pressured on you.
Yeah, they're like, oh, yeah, that's true. They're like, oh, you're not paying bills, you're not paying this. How are you depressed? You should be feeling fine. You should be feeling perfect. And then they make you feel ungrateful. You know, and then this is the best one. It's like, oh, well, stop thinking about it. I'm like, it's like, that's what this illness is overthinking. Like, you can't tell somebody is depressed or anxious or overthinks. Like, oh, stop thinking about it. That's easier said than done. You're like, bro, like, that's what this illness is overthinking. Is your brain trying to fix scenarios that cannot be fixed. You get me? It is very sad. And I think last year, Nico, a lot of pastors actually committed suicide.
Yeah, from what I heard, like in my area, a lot of them, like I say, like a good handful amount of youth pastors have committed suicide.
A lot of pastors committed suicide due to being depressed, anxious. And look, I do believe in a supernatural God. I do believe that there is such thing as deliverance. I do believe that we need to confess these things so God can heal us, deliver us, and we can let go of these generational curses. You give me things that are genetic, from the bloodline. I believe in all this stuff. And, like I said, I really don't want to put Bible verses because this is not really about being theologically whatever correct. Or, honestly, I don't care about that right now, because I feel like there's a lot of PKs right now that a lot of people watching this, that they can relate. They can relate, and sometimes you've been I fought this demon for many months, almost a year, by myself, privately, and gosh, I wanted to kill myself. I did attempt suicide twice, but it didn't ever pull through because I was really afraid. Because, bro, like, I don't know, like I just couldn't do it, and thank God I didn't. But I did start taking medication, and honestly, many people are against it, like Nico said, but it's helped me so much to balance my thoughts, and I think Nico's therapist told him that medication has helped slow down the process, right? But the therapist is kind of someone that helps you to overcome it and fight it mentally, because what happens is that our brain sometimes tries to fight it internally and fight scenarios that cannot be changed. You can't change anything that has happened in the past, like it's over. But especially me that had PTSD, I was so stuck in that robbery moment, hoping I was able to fix it and change it, and told myself I should have made a left, I should have made a right. It was crazy.
Well, for me, been going on for like almost 2 years. Thing is, I was in denial about it. I was like, nah, I'm fine.
I agree.
I'm fine. Like,
I think it happened to me too.
This is just a small process into my life.
You know, God is making us go through a process.
Yeah.
You know, God is testing our maturity, which may be. I mean, yes, I feel like God probably was testing us to not be so negligent of what's happening in our mind, and to go get help or ask for help. You know, even God was like, "Yo, papi, go get some help." Sorry, Nico, go.
I was in denial. You know, like it's just a small process that's gonna be over soon. A year passed by, still going through it. And I was kind of like, you know what? Like, I'm going insane. Like I will be crying to sleep. Not even going to sleep. I would have sleepless nights. And then my mentor, my amazing mentor,
I love you, bro.
he told me like how he got help, and he told me I should get help, but I was still kind of in denial. I was just,
were you just afraid your parents would be very upset?
Well, yeah, what I was afraid of was my parents being like upset, like what's going on, like why did it happen? Why am I going through this?
Why didn't you go to God first?
Yeah,
that's something I've heard many people tell me is like, I opened up to my pastor, my mentor, about my mental health, and they told me, why didn't I go to God first instead of going to seek a doctor? It's like you can't assume things like that. That's not right.
So like, I got laid off early in the year, so I have no more like health insurance. So I was like, crap, like I really wanted to seek a psychiatrist, but I'm not gonna be able to afford it. But due to the whole pandemic, they gave me back my health insurance.
That's good, man. Glory to God.
So I was like, okay, like the first thing I did was call. The back of the card is like mental health urgent. I call the number that's on everything. They send me a whole list of therapists and psychiatrists. I called a psychiatrist first, and I called a lot of numbers, and none of them answered but one. His name is Dr. Kateria. I highly recommend if you're from Riverside, Corona. This guy's amazing. I told him, and now I'm taking medications, but like I started since Tuesday.
Yeah, it's been a week.
It's
going on a week, yeah.
And honestly, I've been seeing a big difference in me. I could see that even though here and there I still have like anxiety attacks, it's not as consistently how it used to be.
Yeah.
Like almost every night.
That must have been bad, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine being in your bed, your room, feeling that. I mean, I feel safe in my bedroom. You get me? That's the safest place you can put anybody, is your own bedroom, your own house. But imagine feeling depressed, anxious, fearsome, dread in your own room. Like, where can you go?
Yeah.
Like, where can you go? And then they're like, pray about it. You know, oh, did you pray about it? You should pray about it. It's like, and look, guys, I'm not discrediting prayer, the power of prayer. My mom is an intercessor. She's a prayer warrior. We have pastor parents. And like, yeah, I believe in prayer. Prayer has moved mountains in my life. But I feel like this mental illness is so new to, I guess, even our culture. Yeah. That there's so many things we didn't know what to do or where to go to. So I feel like I had to start this movement, not a movement, but I guess be a pioneer in like the Hispanic church world, where I'm like, dude, if you have something going on in here, go get help, go seek a doctor, go find a doctor. Because, dude, honestly, I don't want to see my fellow PKs, my fellow pastors commit suicide, die, feel betrayed, feel anxious, and you know, it sucks, dude. Like hiding this, having this struggle in silence, it's probably the worst thing ever, honestly.
The thing I'm grateful for is that I told my parents what happened. I told them seeing a psychiatrist and a therapist, and they supported me. They accepted it. Well, I mean, kind of my mom was like, she accepted and supports me, but it's kind of in denial that I'm going through this. Like, she still questions me, like, why it happened, how it happened. But, like, she still supports me. She says, like, you know what, if you want to get the help, go get the help.
Yeah, I think it's really important.
So, like, honestly, like, them accepting that what I'm going through and I'm going to seek help and supporting me actually made me cried more, because I thought they were going to, like, reject me.
It's rough. Our culture does not accept mental illness. And like I said, there's this toxic machismo where it's like, you're a man, you can't go through this, it doesn't exist, you're weak-minded, you're so sensitive, which I mean, I understand there are lines, but imagine going to sleep crying, waking up crying, sleeping 14-15 hours a day, yet still feeling tired. Imagine replaying thoughts of sadness, replaying moments of anxiety, and then you're still stuck. And then I would still go serve in church, not because I was, you know, and maybe I'm gonna piss off a lot of people, but the fact that I was serving a church, being depressed, anxious, and having PTSD, even suicidal, does not make me unworthy of serving. If anything, it was what kept me alive, serving in church. It was what kept me going. It was what kept me believing in God. Because a lot of people's like, oh, you know, we can't let people who are sinning and mental illness is a sickness, a sin and a sickness. We can't let those people go and serve in the ministry. Like, dude, that's what kept me alive. That's what kept me
kept me going.
Yeah, you know, that's the one reason why I never pulled the trigger, why I never drove off a cliff, because I was like, man, I gotta serve in church. You know, God is there. God is happy with what I'm doing. So yeah, like, you can be struggling, and honestly, maybe people don't see that struggle, but dude, like, I'm proud of you that you never gave up, guys. I'm really, really proud of you.
Not many people can stay strong, but you guys kept it going.
Yeah, you guys kept it going. You know, Nico kept it going. I kept it going. You guys kept it going. Another thing is, like, we're not hindering that God can heal, that God's a supernatural God. I believe that God is supernatural. I've seen God do amazing, crazy miracles, deliver people, but everything happens for a reason. I feel like me and Nico had to go through this so we can start this movement of, like, the Latino Hispanic culture in LA and just maybe in the world, and even pastors' kids, and maybe even pastors in general who are depressed, going through these things, to go seek help. And especially now in this pandemic, like, dude, like, it's rough. It is very rough. Yeah. It is very rough.
I feel like this generation is suffering a lot with mental illness, like, stronger than ever.
Dude, you know why, Nico? Because people are getting their hearts broken. People are getting cheated on, betrayed. People are discovering lies from their parents, lies from their partners. You know, they're discovering all these things. You know, you and not only that, it's like you're on social media. You see your boyfriend banging another girl, or your girlfriend sleeping with another guy. That messes you up here, guys. That causes a dent in your brain, where your dent just becomes your brain becomes a zombie, and it's stuck in this pain. That's why, because social media has opened up eyes to the world, so we can see all these sad things, horrible things. And in a way, like, yes, I think it's a blessing that we have access to these things so we can make a difference. But I feel like a lot of people are not ready. Yeah. I wasn't ready to experience heartbreak, betrayal, robbery, PTSD. I wasn't ready. But then, you know, the world with life was like, boop.
God was like, here, you're gonna learn today.
You're gonna learn today. I'm grateful though. Like, I hated my life the last 2 years. I felt like I was having a discipleship with a bunch of my youth from church, leadership class, and I told them, it's like, for 2 years I struggled with this mental illness, with depression, anxiety, PTSD, lack of forgiveness. But not until the beginning of this year is when I felt like, you know what, I'm ready to go back to church, or at least serve again in church, or have leadership and discipleship classes again, and help grow the church, because I couldn't. I was barely functioning to go to work, play shows, play MD at church, but now be a leader again and do these things. I was excited, and then this pandemic happened, but I told myself, I was like, you know, I ain't gonna stop. Like, I'm not gonna stop. You know, but it took me 2 years to kind of mature and grow and be like this person where I'm like, you know what? It's time. Like, we're gonna do it. I feel better. Even when I was messed up, I still looked out for people because I love my position as a mentor.
Yeah, last year's it's been hard. It's been really, really hard, but I know I'm growing. I'm learning a lot about life. Life just hit us like nothing.
Life is rough, dude.
You know, like, sometimes I wish I could go back, like, to high school years, change everything.
We would like to, right?
Yeah, just everything was so much easier than it is now.
I miss high school, dude.
But, you know, like, I'm still grateful for my life, the people I met, the people God gave me,
the things you're doing,
the things I'm doing. You know, like, sometimes, like, when you go through mental illness, you lose motivation for everything.
Yeah.
Even me, like, I try to practice as much as I can for drums, but I lost all motivation. I just wanted to be in my bed, sleep all day, do nothing. It was bad, but I made the biggest decision of my life to seek help.
I'm proud of you, man.
And it's worth it. It's worth it. Just working on. It'll be hard for my family to get used to me taking medications and all that, but
you just started.
Yeah, I just started. But I know, and now I can see the results big time. And it was a hard decision to make, but it was the best decision.
I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. And honestly, dude, you know, this is the first step to becoming a better you, a new you. And I know God's going to be there with you. No matter what people tell you, Nico, and anybody that's watching right now, no matter what people tell you that you should be ashamed or you should feel disgusted because you are sinning and this is why you have this. Like, no. If anything, God is with you, guys. God is there. He's pulling you, pushing you, helping you, guiding you. To anybody that's been rejected due to having some kind of depression or anything, don't believe that. God is not going to reject you. If people reject you, God is going to pick you up, and God does that all the time. All right, guys. Nico, I think this is it. I think we should wrap it up for today.
Yep. One last thing.
Go ahead.
If you're going through like any type of mental health, one thing I do suggest is get a journal and write down what are your thoughts. Write down everything. It has helped me a lot.
I agree. I did that too.
It has helped me a lot.
I have like 5 journals, and and the reason why I haven't continued it, but the Letters to God series on my Instagram was because of a song by Angels and Airways. And what's the other Tom DeLonge band? Boxcar Racers, because he did a Letters to God and a Letters to God Part 2 in a different band, which is beautiful. Go check that out. But also because I have a notebook where I wrote letters to God, just like telling him how I was feeling that day: depressed, angry, sad, bitter, resented, blah 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 blah. And it just filled up 5 notebooks, and that's why I started that. So a lot of the segments are in my Letters to God series in my Instagram. IGTV is from my notebook. Alright guys, well, this is it. We're going to wrap it up right here. Thank you again for watching. Thank you again for taking your time to watch the segment. I'm Leo. This is Nico. We love you. We support you. We believe in you. I'll be leaving our links down below. If you need any help, if you're in the Riverside area or in the LA area, I'm LA, Nico's Riverside area. We're youth pastors. We're also youth mentors. We have a church that, despite of all the things we spoke about our parents, don't take it the wrong way. It's not that our parents are bad. It's just that they went through a process too. They had to learn with us. But our parents love and accept anybody and anyone. Like I said, it don't matter your gender, your sex, your ethnicity, your color, whatever you want to be. It doesn't matter. We will accept you and love you in our ministries and our church, guys. Our links are down below. I'll leave some hotlines down there so you guys can click on it and check it out. You're not alone, pastors' kids, pastors, ministers, or just people in general watching this right now. You don't have to be in the ministry to relate. You're not alone. We're
fighting this together.
We're fighting this together, and we'll get through it, right? Love you. God bless you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye! You are, and I don't know you today. Let me just rest a bit.